We got married and had both attended smaller churches. And we're just trying to decide where we wanted to go to church. And so we had a couple of friends that had attended the Compass and they highly recommended it. And we figured, well, we'll give it a go. We got plugged into a small group right away. And that was one of the best things we could have done because that small group just became some of our closest friends. And we really trusted them through some good times and some hard times. We decided to start a family and we got pregnant. We were super excited. We shared with our friends and our family in our small group. And then at one of our appointments, I went in to just have a regular checkup with my OB, and she was having a hard time finding the heartbeat of the baby. And I was 15 weeks pregnant at the time. So, you know, in my eyes, I was in like the safety zone, as they would say, most of the time. And so I wasn't nervous at first. And she's like, well, maybe it's just the equipment. And then she was trying a couple different things. And at that point, I could see it in her face. And she recommended that we go to the emergency room and just get checked there.
We were in tears pretty much the whole time. And I realized very quickly that I was not wanting to drive. I didn't think I could drive anywhere. And the first and only person that came to mind of who we needed to call for a ride was our small group leader.
He drove us to the hospital, and while we were waiting to hear back from the doctor, his wife also showed up just to be there to support both of us. And I just really appreciated them being willing just to be with us, to pray with us, and just show us love in a time that was really difficult.
So then the aftermath comes and we had to go home, still pregnant, but not pregnant. And that's when our small group, the rest of them, came around us as well. We had friends in our small group that came and dropped off gifts that we still have. We have friends in our small group that came and cooked us meals and dropped off meals because we didn't want to go anywhere for a couple of weeks afterwards.
That was huge.
Gave us groceries and food. Friends just calling and stopping by and checking in on us. And that was huge. It was a huge blessing to have people, and not just a friend, but a group, just to come around and support in that way.
It really took some of that burden off as I was still processing what was happening and what was God doing, and, you know, how are we going to move on from this point?
We've had a lot of highs and a lot of lows in small groups. We're in a real sweet spot with our small group again, where there's big life things happening, there's everyday life things happening, but week in and week out, we carve out the time to intentionally get together and pray and discuss God's word, just relationally get to know each other, and it gives us friends. So when it comes down to it, there's always going to be a dark period of life. We're not going to be able to avoid it, and that's where small groups are critical. Because life isn't always going to go really well. There are going to be times where you need people who love Jesus in your corner, and that's where it's been for us. Our small group over the last decade has been those people for us, and I don't know how we would have gotten to the point where we are without that.